is a tutorial for the FX and sound managers for the Unity Asset Store. First, I'm going to show you how this works. Here I have it set up so I have 5 sounds that are 2D. It means that it doesn't matter where I create the fire, the sound always hear the same. The spark is a 3D sound, so when I do the spark, if it is closer, I hear it more louder, and if it is far, I hear it with less volume. I have the fireworks that are 3D too, with the middle click. Alright, and with clicking I can select the elemental spheres and create a sound that is 3D. The sound is attached to the flame transform. I can also activate wind and the rain sounds. What I'm really doing here is that I'm using the pool that has the effects and the sound, and I'm attaching those objects to this transform through the test code that I will show you later. Here you can see how when I open the fire container I can all the instances are activated and then they return to the pool. They are disabled and they are ready to be used again. The same with the spark and the same with the fireworks. Here we have the list of the random fireworks effects. We have an enum for that. Here we have the same with the sounds, and here we have the same with the sound, with the 3D sounds that we use. Well, we have references to the rain, flame, and wind game objects that we get the reference to the transforms. Okay, now we're going to look into the test code that uses this. Now, but before we're going to look at how we set up the FX Manager to create this. Here in the FX Manager we have an FX data that we can increase in its size. For example, we put an 8 in here, and then we have different elements, and we need to set up the enum for this element, and then I select the proper prefab that in this case is fire, and I choose the FX type that could be automatic, or manual. The automatic effect is going to be disabled as soon as it finishes, and the manual effect is like the wind and fire and rain that you need to set it up manually. You need to fire it manually, the same as the automatic, but also you need to shoot it down manually. Here the wind, the flame, and the rain are manual, as you can see. They have their proper prefabs, and here you put the instances amount that are going to be created initially in the pool. But these systems work so if you exceed the number of instances created, new ones are going to be created and added to the pool. And you can, for example, have messages like this that will tell you when new instances are created, so when you are testing your game you can know if the instances are enough, usually, so you know how many you need to create, because because the idea is to avoid creating instances at runtime because that creates hiccups in the performance. Okay, in the case of the sound manager, we'll have something similar, but in this case we have sound datas. Okay, in each one of these datas we have the name of the sound. We can select the type, one shot, automatic, and manual, and we can also use instances. Instances are used in the case of manual and automatic, but not in the one shot, because one shot sounds played with the audio source once and you don't need anything else. In the case of 3D sounds, in Unity you need to create a sound and place it in in some point in the world. Um, you have the volume, the default volume. You can also set the volume when you play the sound, but if you don't define one volume, you will have the default. And also the spatial blend, that is like the 3D, how much the sound is affected by its position. If it is 1, it is fully 3D sound, and if it is 0, it is as the fire, that it does not change the volume according to the position. So you do the same, but in this case you select the clip and not a prefab for each one of the sounds. And you do the same with the songs. The songs, you use song datas that has the enum, has the clip. You can set the loop when you play 2, but you have the default, and also the same with the volume. And finally, well, you have the reference that is already set up in the prefab, in the sound manager prefab, that is the music player. And you need this other audio source because you want the music to be played in a different volume than your sounds that use this audio source that is in the same game object as the sound manager. So the other things you need to remember now when we are going to look at the code is that we have the music box here that we are referencing to the test code is here, and we have, well, these spheres that we are also referencing them to check when they are clicked in order to trigger the different effects and sounds. Okay, now we are looking at the code. Here we have the booleans that we use to control the scene. So when we click the ground or different elemental sphere, we have 3D sounds or non-dimensional sounds. Here we have the list of the random fireworks that we use, the sounds, and the version for the 3D sounds. We have the list that we pass to a randomizer, so one of the enums that we have in there are picked, and then the sound is played by the sound manager. Here we have the transform from the ring, wind, and flame, and for the music box. In this case, we have a maximum of 2 songs. We have the camera here that we get the reference once. Here we have booleans to know if the blizzard, fire, or wind are playing. Well, I have wizard in here, but that's the same of the rain. Music. Well, the index for the music that advances when I press the box.